Fire up Mason Rudolph if you're absolutely desperate. Shouldn't be that
Don't
desperate.
fire up Mason Rudolph.
Don't
Even
fire
if you're
him up.
desperate.
Don't
Throw
fire
it for
him.
300.
Yeah, don't fire. Bengals at Browns. Cover your mouth. They won't just do your order.
He has been quarterback 11 or higher 3 of the last 4 weeks. And everybody hates on this guy. It is Danny Dimes.
I'm hanging up right now. I can't believe
Come on.
it. I'm hanging up.
No.
What up, what up? All I gotta say
What up?
is start Mason Rudolph.
What up?
He's
what
throwing
up?
for 300 again.
Oh,
You're
for
so
crying
stupid.
out loud.
Oh gosh, nice little throwback. What was that? What, week 5 or whatever?
I
I
don't
want
know.
to match the same energy as last time. Do not start Mason Rudolph. He is not throwing for 300 yards.
Who do they play?
The Colts.
Start him. Anyway, welcome in, boys.
Good evening. Starting the show off with a bang, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on into WPF, the When Pigs Can Fly Fantasy Football Show. We are your hosts of the show. I'm Sal Adams. That's Corey Lamberts. And he is the Wesley Bryant. He's got the guns out. Swelling
sure
up.
does.
You guys paid first, so it's all good.
That's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. How are you guys doing tonight? You guys aren't freezing
am-
cold, are you?
I'm great, man.
Actually,
I'm at
not.
work.
Yeah.
I'm at work.
Uh,
It was a nice day out today.
The man cave is not as well insulated down here as it should be, so it's probably a crisp like 63 down here. Pretty chilly, if I'm honest.
We got one of those. We have a fireplace in our add-on, our addition upstairs, and
Okay.
that room's usually really cold. But I got one of those blanket things that go over the fireplace. Dude,
Okay.
what a difference!
Game changer, huh?
Game changer.
All right, all right. I've been cold
Nice.
calling at work, making game changer calls, so I'm very familiar with game changing.
Mm.
Oh yeah, teaching everybody the script.
Yeah, you know, little bit of this, little bit of that. Shall we get right on with the show here, fellas?
Let's do it.
We shall.
All right, let's do it. We have a pre-playoff. Sorry, not a pre-playoff. I guess first
Post
round
wild card game.
post wild card playoff game, if you will. Tonight, we are coming into week 16, so you're fresh off of your quote unquote wild card playoff week in most standard leagues, right? You're gonna have, generally last week is a week that number 1 and number 2 seed get a bye week. The other 4 teams are duking it out to see who can play the number 1 and 2 seed. If you are an owner like Corey, you are actually playing in the toilet bowl. In our league, it doesn't mean anything because the picks are already set for the bottom 4 teams that don't make the wild card. So, anyways, we are here
Real
to
quick.
walk you through. Yes, sir.
I'm in a league, a 12-man league, and first of all, the bench is only 4 people. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever been in. 12-man league. Last week wasn't even playoffs of any kind. Playoffs are this week and next week. 12-man league, only 4 teams make the playoffs. 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. In week 17,
crazy.
that's it.
That's crazy. At least you don't have to play in week 17.
I'm the 1 seed.
Oh, of course you are. So, circling back,
It's amazing what you can do when you draft your own team, isn't it?
Mm.
we are going to take you on a trip discussing the upcoming playoff week. We've got studs and duds from last week, week 15. We've got trending hot and trending not with a twist. We're calling it Triple P, the playoff push potentials. This week we are going to mention a few hot names for the week that you could potentially start in the playoffs that you maybe weren't ready to start quite yet before now. So we're pretty excited about introducing that this week. Getting a little twist on things from the norm for you. We're going to talk Thursday Night Football. We've got picks and locks for that. And we're going to discuss the playoff picture of our home league and what we think will happen in these big games. Fortunately, we won't have anybody wanting to duke it out on show. Wesley and I do not play each other this week, but it's very possible we do next week, in which case we won't be talking to each other.
Yeah, we will.
All that and maybe a little bit more. So let's go ahead and buckle on up, ladies and gentlemen, because the WPF crew is about to take flight.
good one.
That was one of the better ones.
And we're back.
And we're
Yes, we
back.
are. We are
Uh,
back.
I don't know what I just did, but I just floated my my notes here. Crazy. Anyways,
That's weird. No, I gotta find mine now that you said something. There we go.
no, that's all right. Life is good. So,
Yep.
you guys want to start off with studs and duds from week? I believe it was 15 last week. For some reason, I'm drawing
15.
a
Yep.
complete blank on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Week 15.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's go ahead and start off with studs and duds from last week, week 15. I don't mind starting first if you guys want me
Go
to.
for it.
Please do.
I'm going to go with quarterbacks first. My stud on the week, our hometown boy that I love to hate on for being an average quarterback. He was not an average quarterback this last week. Still didn't win us the ball game. My man, Jared Goff, QB1 on the week, 51.1 fantasy points. He was 38 of 59 for 494 yards, 5 touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over, and he didn't get sacked very often. I will tell you, the Lions have not won this year when he throws for 50 plus. He's thrown for 50 plus twice. We have lost both games. Not his fault. Clearly, there's a trend there. So he is my stud on the week, though, Mr. Jared Goff. My dud on the week, ex-Lions quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
See what you did
He
there?
finished he finished quarterback 28 on the week. He had 8.2 fantasy points, 16 of 27 passing for 160 yards. I believe it was a little bit rainy out there. And he really he screwed you over unless you had Puka Nacua on your team. He didn't throw to anybody else. So he is my quarterback dud on the week.
That's why I've been forever locking Nakua in those games and not
Oh,
going
for
with him
sure.
anymore.
A little footnote about your stud, Jared Goff. He is the only quarterback in history that has a 5 touchdown game and lost, and a 5 interception game and won in the same season.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
we talked
insane.
about that earlier. That's
Yes, we
honestly
did.
it's an insane stat.
That's crazy.
I can't. I mean, at least from my brain, I can't recollect very many quarterbacks that have thrown 5 interceptions in a game, period. Let alone thrown that many and won. I mean, I could
Right.
probably name a
Yeah.
couple, but man, that's a crazy stat.
Well, just to jump right off of what you were talking about, Lions-Bills game, my quarterback stud is Josh Allen. 23 for 34 for 362 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, 11 rushes for 68 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. 45.28 points, QB3 on the week.
Yeah, he cut us up. It was bad.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Somebody
Had a
took
heck
the
of a
over
week.
on those rushing yards.
Remember,
Yeah, somebody did say it. Yeah, I know. But
I said it.
how did
If
what's
he ran,
his,
if he ran for more than 50 yards, we didn't have a chance. He ran for like 70. We got beat.
my dud? Tua, talk about 29 for 40, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions and a fumble lost.
That's I didn't realize it was
5.84
that.
points, QB 29.
He had 4 turnovers. That's crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
That
Yeah.
is wild.
That's a crazy stat. Good on you for finding that one.
Yeah, nicely done. Moving right along, I'll take my QB stud of the week is neither of those. It is Lamar Jackson.
Marvelous.
Lamarvelous Jackson, 21 of 25 for 290, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, as well as 6 carries for 65 yards. Good enough for 46.1 fantasy points. QB3?
2. He's 2.
2 on the
He's
week?
gotta be
QB2
two,
on the
yeah.
week?
Yep.
Can I
QB2 on the
interject really
week.
fast? I shared
You
a stat
may.
with you earlier this week, Corey, and I shared it with a couple other people. I didn't share it with you yet, Wes, but I will. Can we talk about why all these analysts and people are bragging up Josh Allen like he is the lock for MVP this year? Lamar Jackson, statistically speaking, if you lay all the stats out and don't put the name next to it, he's clear cut the MVP
It's
this
100%.
season.
There's no chance it's anybody
He's
else
got
going
like
to win it.
600 more yards. He's responsible for more touchdowns. He's turned the ball over less.
They're too busy at looking at the win-loss column.
They have the same record.
No, they don't. They've
No, they
only won
don't.
9 games.
No.
Ravens have only won 9 games, and I think Bills have won 12
Yeah, they're
or 11.
No, they're 11.
No, 11-3. They're 11-3. But there's a 2-game difference there. But either way, I don't know, man.
What about Joe Burrow?
He was the third name that I'm putting in that list.
So
And
don't look at the
he
win-loss and just look at the stats.
4,000 passing yards already. I mean, he's
as much as that shouldn't take into effect of it, because the title is most valuable player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you took him off that roster, they're dookie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, they've won 6 games with him. Without him, they're not winning. Maybe
I don't
one.
think they win anything.
Yeah,
I don't think they win one.
Just
the problem
just
is it's everything combined, right? It's the win-loss shouldn't matter, right? But the most valuable player to the NFL, not necessarily just to their team, but to the NFL. The NFL's most valuable player. It will be Lamar Jackson again.
It's gotta be. It has to be.
I'm
There's
sick of watching
him win.
He's still not going to get a Super Bowl. On your dud.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine.
We
You're
could
fine.
go off on a rabbit hole.
My dud of the week is the opponent for your dud, Matthew Stafford. It is Brock Purdy, 14 of 31, 142 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception.
Inclement weather, dude.
Was that the Thursday game?
It was.
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, was it like 12 to 6 or
points.
something like that?
It was a terrible game.
And remember, I talked about it in the Saturday, our last show. Even if it was kickers, I looked up the points for kickers. 12 points was the highest in standard kicking with no bonuses. Like, that's what a horrible game.
Oh gosh.
Hey,
that's awful.
I will say Puka got 17 points, I believe, right? 17.1, something like that. 16.7. It was somewhere in there.
He's the only one that caught the ball.
Yeah, what was that? Wide receiver 19 on the week this week?
No, it wasn't that bad. Actually, it was wide receiver 21, 17.8 points.
Speaking of wide receivers, go ahead, Corey. Go with your wide receiver.
My wide receiver stud this week, and I believe we all locked him. Mike Evans.
Oh yeah.
They are going to force feed that man the ball.
Yeah.
He's going to get his 1,000 yards.
It's happening. We've been saying it for weeks.
He had 9 catches on 11 targets, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good enough for 36.9 fantasy points in full PPR scoring. So, I mean,
we'll see. Wide receiver
he's a
3?
must start every week, right? Yeah, I think it was 3. I didn't write down the wide receiver what rank they were, but
because
he was wide receiver 3. He is 250 yards away, 251 yards away from 1,000 in 3 games.
3 games left.
That's it, man.
He's getting it.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. The craziest thing is, how many games did he miss? 4?
He's only played in 11 so far, and I think they've played 14 games, so he missed 3.
3? That's wild.
Well, a bye week hit perfect for him.
Oh yeah.
Your
dud?
Your dud, yeah.
And then my dud, another Thursday night stinker. 3 of 7 for 16 yards and a couple drops. Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. Give me the ball.
He is not startable at all.
Thanks for him.
Somebody in our home league was asking for a first out of that guy earlier. I wonder who it was. Forget who it was.
Yeah, I definitely didn't give you a first.
Yeah.
I'll go wide receiver. My stud, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 14 for 18, 118 targets, 14 receptions, 18 targets, 14 receptions, 193 yards, a touchdown. He played this game with the flu, and he didn't let anybody know until after it was all said and done. Everyone was talking about it.
Fined for that.
The only person that thought that he wasn't right was Jared Goff, because he's usually more talkative and whatnot. He was saying, he was just like, okay, I'm good, I'm all right. And like, he just went out and balled out. Like, everyone's just like, that's who he is. He's going to play his game. But 37.3 points, wide receiver 2 on the week.
I had no idea until right now that he had the flu this week.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think it was just before they went out on the field. It was either before the game or right after they came out at halftime, and he like puked.
He also said that was his first time ever puking in his life.
Yeah.
Ever? What is he? Jackie Moon?
I was gonna say,
Somebody
I find
punch
that
him in
hard
the
to believe.
jejunum?
Yeah.
What?
Nice.
All right.
Pass it back. No, pass it to me. No, pass it back. Pass it to me. No, pass it back.
Is Tyreek
Only
Hill.
on it. Oh,
Eric
gosh.
Hill, 2 receptions, 7 targets, 36 yards, 5.6 points. Wide receiver 66, and that's a 93% snap.
That's tough.
They played bad this week. I think we locked Hill this week, didn't we?
I did not. Devon H.
I don't want to admit to that. If I did, I don't believe I did, but that's bad.
I'll take the hit because I didn't make the playoffs. So put it on me.
Makes sense.
My turn.
Yes.
My wide receiver on the week is my guy. Wide receiver 4 on the week, 32.5 fantasy points. He had 10 catches on 14 targets for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. I reminded you boys of him while we were doing picks and locks last week. I'm talking about Brian Thomas Jr. Outstanding game for him. I actually have 2 locks. 2 duds in the wide receiver category for the week. One of them, wide receiver 64, he had 5.8 fantasy points. He caught all 3 of his targets for 38 yards. But he's almost unstartable, in my opinion, for playoff teams moving forward for the rest of the season. It's DK Metcalf.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had a terrible
100%.
week, and that's not the first terrible week. He's having a tough time.
It's wild. I can't start DK Metcalf.
Yeah, my other guy tied for wide receiver 116 on the week. We've briefly touched on him. It wasn't necessarily his fault, more of a weather type deal. Cooper Kupp, he had 3 targets for 0 receptions. He didn't have a fantasy point. There's a lot of teams that started Cooper Kupp in this game expecting for him to put forth some points for them. He's been great. He's always great. I mean, he's Cooper Kupp. He had 0 receptions for 0 fantasy points.
His cup is empty.
He is the ultimate fantasy disappointment, I think, on the week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair to say. You expected him to be a
100%.
top 15 wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
I got to step away for just a second, gentlemen. I will be right back.
Okay,
All right.
let's go to running back.
Do you want to start?
Oh, yeah, I'll start. James Conner, 16 carries, 110 yards, 2 TDs, 5 targets with 5 receptions, 28 yards, 30.8 points. Running back 1 on the week.
My man's found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, you're not usually drafting him until later in the rounds these days,
Nope.
but definitely a stasher.
Yep.
And my dud, this guy had 95% snap percentage. He was on the field for 95% of the plays. He had 8.9 points. Running back 32. 10 rushes, 32 yards, 4 receptions on 4 targets for 17 yards. Chuba Hubbard.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
Stanker.
For sure. I'm actually surprised that he had that many. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know who their other guy is since Brooks is down again, but I mean, when you got him, especially after he just got paid. Both of your guys actually stud and dud just signed extensions this year.
James Conner is my stud. Chuba Hubbard as my dud.
And especially after both moving up in the draft to draft Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah.
And then they signed their existing guys for several year extensions. Pretty hefty amount of money too.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me for stepping away. When you're doing a show, it's kind of rude, disrespectful, maybe even a little bit for stepping away in the middle of it. There's a big boom upstairs, and I don't know. I had to check that out. Sorry. So, life is good. Everything's fine.
All the kids'
Good.
noggins okay.
Glad, yeah. Sure,
Everybody's fine. It's just I heard it and I was just like, I need to go check.
One
it
of the
out.
walls fell down, but everybody's fine.
Everybody's good. So it sounds like you entered with running backs. Corey, do you want to go or you want me to go?
You may. I will go last on this one since you just made that.
Yep, my running back stud of the week was RB5 on the week. He had 26.3 fantasy points, 14 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown. He also had 1 reception for 28 yards and a touchdown. His counterpart at the same position at running back, their third string guy, could also be talked about this week for having like 4 catches for 115 yards. James Cook. RB5 on the week for the Bills. Tyler Johnson is who I was mentioning.
Tyler Johnson?
Had a couple. It was like 4 catches for 115 yards against Detroit.
Ty Johnson.
Big difference.
Tyler
Johnson
Johnson
plays for the Rams.
And he's
I
a wide
would've-
receiver.
You told us not to. You told us not to talk about him
You should
anymore.
never say his name again.
I would assume, though, hear me out.
Banished.
Doesn't
Ty's
Ty
real
Johnson
name,
a former Lion?
Tyler. No.
Are you sure?
99.5% sure.
Hold that thought. Keep going. Talk about your running.
I've been wrong before. I'm not wrong about that.
Ladies
Perhaps
and gentlemen, you just heard something that nobody has ever heard on this show before. Sal admitted he was wrong.
that doesn't happen very often. Yeah.
I'm just playing. We have fun here.
Let's move on because
Yep.
I don't want to talk
No,
about. I don't
let's
want to.
not move on. Johnson was drafted by the Detroit Lions in the 6th round, the 186th overall of the 2019 NFL Draft. Johnson made his NFL debut in the Lions regular season opener against the Arizona Cardinals.
All right. Give me just a second here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna get composed a second.
For the first time ever, not only have I admitted I'm wrong once, but back to back, we're admitting I was wrong. Ty Johnson was once a Detroit Lion. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a lifer when it comes to the Detroit Lions. I don't remember that. So that's crazy.
It
Good
wasn't
on you for
memorable.
knowing
That's
that.
why you didn't remember.
There hasn't really been a memorable running back in Detroit since Barry Sanders,
Carry on Johnson, baby.
Reggie Bush. I mean, we could name off names, but
Okay,
you know, Javid Best, theoretic. Anyways, so my dud on the week at running back. Gosh, I'm embarrassed. I didn't know that. RB 37 on the week, 6.7 fantasy points. I believe I locked him. I apologize for doing such. 14 carries for 67 yards. He didn't have a target or a reception. I'm talking about Derrick Henry.
Yeah, we all locked that. Embarrassing.
I'm talking
Thankfully,
about Derrick
for some of us, he didn't have to play anybody this week.
Hey, guess what?
At least one
that
of us.
was
I still
in
put over
a-
200 points.
That was in a win against a really weak Giants team.
Yep.
I had 160 from 4 guys. Good thing you weren't playing anybody this week.
Yeah, I know.
Next week you won't get 100.
Allen, Lamar Jackson, who's the Mike Evans and Devontae Adams? No, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Devontae Adams with like 45.
Yep.
Corey, let's hear your running back.
Yeah, my running back stud, 8 carries, 31 yards, 1 touchdown. 5 catches on 7 targets, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. 28.4 points. Our Sonic. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, Knuckles is down. It's time for Tails to join the squad.
Maybe get Shadow in there.
Greg Reynolds. No,
we?
Sione Vaki is Tails.
I was gonna say, do we think it's gonna be Craig Reynolds or is it gonna be Sione Vaki?
I don't know. I think Craig Reynolds is gonna be number 2, but
he's gotta be.
Sione Vaki is a really good special teamer right now.
Yep.
They both kind of they're tough. I don't think the Lions are gonna completely rely on Gibbs. I just doesn't seem like
they
the
are
right
playing
move.
the Bears.
They were talking about like 40 touches they want to limit him to. Like that's carries and receptions.
For the rest of the season?
No, like per game.
40?
Is that what I read?
That's a lot, bro.
That sounds like a lot. Now that I'm saying it out loud.
That's a lot.
40 touches
40
per game?
touches? That might be how many offensive, like, legitimate plays that we run that gain yards.
Maybe that's what I don't know.
Jeez, holy smokes.
I'll have to find that article what Scotty Montgomery said.
And then my dud this week, I locked him.
As an owner of Gibbs, I would love 40 touches, by the way.
That'd be fantastic. especially if we're doing a point per carry.
Maybe 14, it sounds like it. But anyways, go on. Scotty Montgomery.
He's got to find the article.
Oh, okay.
My dud this week for running back in a game that would suggested that they'd be running the ball more, or at least he would have. 6 carries, 14 yards, 1 reception on 1 target for 7 yards, 3 fantasy points. Najee Harris.
Oh, man.
Did not have a good game. Bad.
Did Jalen Warren have a good game?
I believe he had 10 carries, if I remember correctly. So not that much.
Hey.
I'm pulling it up here.
Yeah, I think I traded him away semi-recently, so I don't have...
You did? Warren had 4 carries for 12 yards.
That's not 10.
Nope.
Did he have any
Against
catches,
it,
targets?
1 for 2 or 2 for 3.
I'm gonna be
2 of
honest.
4.
I expected them to put up more of a fight in the
One
Pennsylvania
one of 2. Yeah, 1 of
in the
2. Yeah.
Pennsylvania battle. I
Yep.
thought that was gonna be a better football game than it was.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Moving right along, should we transition to a different position? I believe it's Wesley's pick for what we do next.
Well, we got left as tight end.
Mhm.
It's your pick though. Pick whatever you want.
He started with running back. He can do this one too.
Out of everything that's left, you get to
All
pick
that's
which
left
you
is
want to
tight end. I'm picking tight end. And my stud is Sam Laporta, another Lion. 7 for 10, 111 yards. 25.1 points, tight end 4. I did not realize he had that much stats.
Yeah.
Is that his most targeted game of the season? Truly, that's an honest question.
I think so. Maybe the most
Yes, that last game where I think he only had 4 targets that one game where
I'm looking up right now. 10 targets is the most targets he's had in a game. 7 receptions matches the most amount of targets he's had in a game.
Okay.
So that is the most receptions and targets and yards he's had in a game.
Yeah, and my dud that had 7 targets, 3 receptions, 15 yards, 7.5 points, tight end 27, Noah Fant.
I don't necessarily know that anybody was starting Noah Fant, but I mean, it's still noteworthy.
Fantastically disappointing.
Fantastic. Go ahead, somebody.
I'll jump in if that's okay with you, Corey.
Yeah, please.
My tight end, who is a super stud for me this week, we've been talking about him a little bit. I don't want to say a little bit. I don't want to say a lot either, but Jonnu Smith, tight end 2 on the week, 19.8 fantasy points. He had 9 receptions on 11 targets. He only had 48 yards, but he had a touchdown. If you're running a PPR league, 20 points out of a tight end that you grabbed him off of waivers. You didn't draft Jonnu Smith this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy has been an outstanding player for teams, especially down the stretch. We'll see if he keeps it up. My dud on the week is a guy that you got really comfortable believing he was going to be a top 5 tight end week in and week out, essentially at this point. He was tight end 24 on the week, 6.5 fantasy points in a normal PPR format. He had 3 catches on 6 targets for 35 yards. I'm talking about Brock Bowers.
Oh.
I believe he was a super lock for us. I'm going to apologize on behalf of the entire WPF crew. Not a good start this week, Brock.
I found the article, Sports Illustrated article about Scotty Montgomery.
Let's hear it.
He said he explained that Gibbs doesn't need a plethora of carries to get going thanks to his big playability. Going throughout the week and into Sunday's game, the team will coordinate a plan for how to best utilize him from a snap count perspective. Montgomery says it's about how we progress moving forward and then also getting guys ready. So there's a part of that as well. You got to get guys ready. Montgomery said, so you don't want to go out there and give him 60 reps if we can get him down in the 40 reps.
Reps.
Okay.
Yeah, reps.
Got it.
And then supplement some of those things that we do with the other guys. It'd be great for us. But touches, he doesn't need a lot of touches in some situations to get big yardage.
I truly believe that the Lions will deploy a 3-headed backfield similar to what Tampa Bay does, but they're going to use Jameer where it's more when it's important, right? When it's important play where we've got to be able to use play action effectively, or if we need to have a running back that's going to be able to bounce it outside and do something.
I think that's 75, 15, 10 usage.
I agree. That's probably really close.
Yep.
I was thinking maybe 65, 25, 10.
Yeah.
But Sione Vaki is going to see the field. Craig Reynolds is definitely going to see the field. I would love to see both those kids.
Jamar Jefferson has actually been talked about being looked at as well.
Okay.
That name has come up. He's been someone to look out for. So don't be surprised if you see a Jamar Jefferson being active to play.
And if anybody wants, I have his autographed rookie card. So.
only if it's a 1 of 1.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Holy moly. Thank you, Wesley, for that Scotty Montgomery article.
Hey,
and thank you, Scotty Montgomery. I will go since I'm the last one here. My stud of the week for tight end, and probably moving forward for playoff teams, Brenton Strange.
Oh.
Evan Ingram is out for the rest of the season. He's on IR. Mac Jones has a favorite target, well, two of them anyway. Brenton Strange went 11 catches on 12 targets for 73 yards.
Was Evan
Um,
Ingram sick? Out?
He's out.
Injured?
He's in the
no,
IR.
he's got a
on IR.
torn labrum, I think.
I think so.
He's on IR. He's done. The season's over for Evan Ingram. So the Jags are hurting at quarterback and at tight end, but seems to be okay. 11 to 12 for 73 yards, 18.3 fantasy points if you're in PPR.
Yeah.
And then my dud, somebody that, just like Brock Bowers, is usually expected to have somewhat of a relevant week. Cole Kmet, 1 of 1, 14 yards.
Thank you, Jesus, for that. That saved me.
1 of 1, 14 yards, 2.4 fantasy points.
Yep.
Woo.
Not what you were expecting out of your starting tight end for a playoff team. And probably actually did cost you a first round win, at least in our league.
My lineup was, I know I didn't play this week, but my lineup was so like roller coaster. I had guys in the 40s and then guys in the 5s. 47, 36,
Yeah, at least you
5. Like,
at least
And
you
you
didn't have to play
still
anybody.
outscored the whole league.
I know.
At least you didn't have to play anybody. That's what my season was like all year. 36 points. 3, 8, 7, 3.
I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that's studs and duds.
It is.
We got.
That's it for the week.
We doing our what's that? The PPP?
Triple P, playoff push potentials.
Yeah. Playoff.
Y'all ready to jump into that?
Participation.
My
potentials.
my first one that I'm gonna release to you guys. It's no surprise this guy's here. He is getting the nod at quarterback for a team playing against a weak New York Giants team. I think this guy's gonna come out hot. This is a great fantasy matchup for a rookie quarterback who hasn't gotten the opportunity to play in a live regular season NFL game yet. If you are in Dynasty, you have held this guy all year, and you were planning on holding him for a couple of years because of the contract they just signed their starting quarterback to.
Take him off the taxi squad.
Maybe you're weak at quarterback. If you are, this is your chance to get a potential banger out of an incredibly unexpected player for this week. I'm talking about Michael Penix. Michael Penix is a rookie quarterback. He has all of the tools as a quarterback that it takes to be successful in the NFL. He's a good runner. He has a fantastic arm. And let me tell you about his weapons. They are nasty. He's got Drake London. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Darnell Mooney. He's got Bijan Robinson. I think he is primed for an excellent opportunity.
Algier.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's got Tyler Algier. Okay. He has Ray
push
McLeod.
potential Penix.
It is quadruple P with the playoff push potential Penix.
Probably.
Thank you for that, sir. Probably. Maybe 5 Ps. He has a great opportunity for you to surprise your opponent if you've got him on the bench. You might run him in your super flex spot. I'm not putting any guarantees out there, but I think that the potential and the opportunity for Penix to have a fantastic week this week in his first ever NFL week is very high.
I'm going to jump in here. Staying in New York, but I think they're playing in L.A. Aaron Rodgers. He's been putting up some good numbers now that they're getting kind of a repertoire with Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. He's been putting up some numbers. And now he's about to go play against Matt Stafford. How many times has he played against Matt Stafford? Green Bay against Detroit. He always put up
a lot.
They always had quite the battles. I'm saying.
Yeah, but the Rams' defense isn't the Lions' defense of the past.
Oh,
he's coming.
Gosh, you have to say it.
He's coming off a solid game, and he's playing the Rams this week. Look, just if you need to, if you got, okay, who are you playing? You gonna play Tua over Aaron Rodgers right now? That's a tough one, I know. That's why I went straight to Tua.
I don't know. Is it your super flex spot or
He
your
just
starting
threw
Tua this
spot?
week
he
is
just threw
playing
3
against.
interceptions and a fumble.
So you're saying Aaron Rodgers or Tua this week?
Yeah,
I'm playing Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
that's my guy.
What if that discount double check coming back?
I think you're discrediting Aaron Rodgers a little bit, saying Tua. I'm almost looking at more of like a Sam Darnold or Aaron Rodgers this week.
Well, we know it's not Kirk Cousins.
Kyler Murray or Aaron Rodgers this week. That's where I'm looking. I think Aaron Rodgers could be a top 10 quarterback this week.
That's what I'm saying. And he hasn't been your guy that you've been keeping in your starting lineup.
No.
That's
Correct.
him, and I had him and Sam Darnold, and I sold them both earlier in the year.
Yeah, I had Kirk Cousins in a league that I've been starting Kirk Cousins in over Aaron Rodgers weekly. And I won't be doing that
Decision
anymore.
made for you this week.
I won't be doing that anymore, but
Yeah. Yep.
Corey, what you got?
I
what's
touched
your
on him a
super
little
hot
bit earlier. I
fire?
mentioned him earlier. Brenton Strange.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
If you're hurting at tight end and you can't rely on, I don't know, Mark Andrews, let's say, and the
You're so hot and
consistency
cold.
or consistency, whatever you want to call it.
Consistability? I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
I'm gonna. I stole it from another individual, but he never trademarked it or coined it or anything. So he's just
No,
used it in his show.
that's a Corey Lambert's original as far as I'm concerned.
So
Consistability, baby.
consistability. But Brenton Strange
Ability
for
to
sure.
stay consistent.
Yep, it's exactly what it means. But it's got to be. I mean, who else are you gonna? The Jags are a weird team to have on your starting lineup.
There's two guys you can trust in that
But
roster.
that's it. It's Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange. Even when Ingram went down earlier in the season, Strange stepped up and played really, really well. So that would be my PPP playoff push.
I've got another triple P that I
Potentiality.
am excited to throw at you guys. Playoff push potential. This young man has seen 5+ targets every single week since week 11. That's 5 straight weeks. He's a wide receiver. He has got a solid matchup this week against Houston. Okay? He is not just getting targets every week. He's actually averaging just under 2 carries per game over this 5-week span. I think he's had 8 or 9 carries in 5 weeks. I think there's a real possibility that this young man can pull through for you this week in a flex spot. I'm thinking 10 to 14 points somewhere in there. You could probably count on him for that. Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy has been consistently getting looks for this Kansas City offense. Patrick Mahomes is a little bit banged up. This guy is very fast. It sounds like Patrick Mahomes is banged up, but not at the same time. I don't know, it's a very interesting situation that I've been getting mixed signals from sources that I'm reading online. Xavier Worthy is a guy that I think you can look to as a playoff push potential this week.
And I did lock him this week. Just want to.
You're pre-locking for Saturday's show on Wednesday?
I locked him last week. And he ended up being
okay.
locked him
I was
last
like,
week.
man, we got like 3 days yet, buddy. I wouldn't
I
jump the
feel
gun
like-
on locking.
I remember if you watched the show, and obviously you guys were part of it, felt like it was going to be a big week for him, and it ended up being 6 of 11. 11 targets, man. That's a lot.
3 carries last week?
Yep.
He's fast. It's hard not to give the ball to somebody that's that fast.
Yep.
Truly.
So
is that it? Is that a wrap on the playoff push potentials?
All we got left is Thursday night picks and locks.
Let's move on to it. Thursday night picks and locks. We have the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. 9-5 Broncos against the 8-6 Chargers. This is a really interesting matchup. They're not in the same division, are they? I don't believe that. Yeah, maybe they are. AFC West?
They are. AFC West.
Together. Yeah, so they are actually right now ranked 6th. Denver is ranked 6th. And 7th place is the Los Angeles Chargers. So truly, the winner of this game is technically going to slide into the last. Is it the
Wildcard
last
spot?
playoff spot? I think 8
I-
teams make it.
Well,
This
All I know is both of them are playing better football than the Chiefs, and their records don't show it.
I agree.
Last time the Broncos played the Chargers was October 13th, and they lost 23-16.
Chargers won that game.
Chargers won that game.
Yeah, so if
Nick
the Chargers
said-
win this, it's
Knicks had 216 yards passing. He was also the high rusher that game with 61 rushing yards, and Vele was the high receiver with 78.
Vele. That was when we were on a hot on a kick of Vele, and it was working out. Does anybody want to jump in first?
No.
Wesley, who you got? Let's just hear it.
Oh gosh.
Get that Band-Aid off, baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, somebody's got to win. Man. Dobbins is out.
Tell me you didn't pick before the show without telling me you didn't pick before the
It's
show.
Denver, man.
All right.
Denver's going to win. They're going to keep their lead. As much as I want the Chargers to win, and actually Chargers are projected to win 57.7% to 42. Where's the other
3-point
0.3%? The tie, I guess. Yeah. I think Nick's is looking pretty good. He's learned a lot since they last played, so Denver. I don't have
Wanna
to pick
go
your
straight?
I don't want to pick your lock anybody.
I actually have the Chargers winning this game again, especially since it's at home. Bo Nix didn't really have to learn much. I think he was like QB4 that week when they played him last time. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a good fantasy game for Nix. Quentin Johnson good for 1. But Bo Nix would be my lock if I had to pick one.
So
Not a Broncos running back. We can say that with a 100% confidence.
Yeah, I'm definitely locking Sutton and Ladd McConkey.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. You guys have taken my 2 locks. My locks for this game are Ladd McConkey and Cortland Sutton. These are 2 obvious locks. They've been great. Pretty much.
He
all
took
season.
your locks. I didn't say either of those names.
I
We're
just
both in
want
the
to
playoffs.
read.
Jeez, how long do we have to hear about that crap?
Well, at
This
least
is the first
until
time
next
I
year,
said
bud.
it, Corey. So I was always picking on you.
At least until next year. Last I checked. Anyways, let's read off the games that the Broncos have played against teams with positive records. Week 1, Seahawks, loss 26-20. Week 2, Steelers, loss 13-6. Week 3, Buccaneers, they won 26-7. Then they beat up on a Jets team who's bad, or Raiders team who's bad. Then they played the Chargers, they're a positive team, lost 23-16. They beat up a bad Saints team. They beat up a bad Panthers team. They played a good Ravens team, blown out 41-10. They played the Chiefs. They lost 16-14. Positive record Falcons. Actually, they're even. They blew them out 38-6. Beat up a bad Raiders team. Beat up a bad Browns team. Beat up a bad Colts team. They have not beat a team with a positive record all season.
You just said they did.
The Falcons.
Buccaneers.
We said the
It was the
Falcons.
Buccaneers.
It was the
Yeah.
Buccaneers. The Falcons are even, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So I apologize. They beat the Buccaneers.
And they should have beat
But
the
when
Chiefs.
When they've played good teams, they have not won.
And
period.
Nick's was not so hot in those early weeks, and he's coming into his own. So I don't care
I'm
what.
taking the Denver Broncos to win this game,
Okay.
and I'm locking Ladd McConkey and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah,
You
buddy.
gotta be that guy.
I don't care, man. I'm gonna sit in front of the TV and watch it.
It's gonna be a good game.
But-
I'm sure of that.
I'll
All
probably
I know
play in
is-
Rocket League.
I'm just gonna say this. I love my
Be
kids.
playing
I
with
love
you.
my wife. My daughter has a choir concert tomorrow night, but we better be home by the time the game starts.
I
That's
was gonna
all
say,
I'm
don't
saying.
you dare tell me you're watching this game over your daughter's choir concert.
No, I'll have it. I'll have it on my
Maddie,
phone watching.
Maddie deserves better. That is a sweet little girl. She deserves better.
She
Going, you
is, yeah.
better be at the choir concert.
Of course, I'll be at the choir concert.
Go watch it at Sidecar and get yourself some sliders. How about that?
Yeah, go to Sidecars.
Yeah, let me drive across state to get some sliders.
They're worth it, dude. Have you ever had them?
Oh, God. No.
Obviously not.
Clearly.
Alrighty.
No, I actually won't be. I won't be at home for that game. I'll be out at the place called Kudos, doing some axe throwing and maybe some cornhole, maybe some bowling. But the game
Let's
will be
move on.
Yep.
To the end of the show.
To the playoffs.
Oh, us.
Playoffs.
Oh,
playoffs?
our league. I guess we can talk about that.
Our
Playoffs.
league. I mean this respectfully as I can. Do we want to talk about only the playoffs, or are we going to talk about the whole league?
But just the playoffs.
The toilet bowl teams. Those teams are already set.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Would it be worth talking about Corpy and Darian, since they were losers last week and they're technically fighting for 5th and 6th spots right now? Let's start with that.
All right, we'll do that one.
Darian and Corpy play each other this week. Corpy's.
Why is mine refresh?
Oh my goodness.
I have Darian winning this. I don't think it's going to be close, particularly.
I'm just looking at their lineups. Yikes.
Corpy doesn't even have anybody he can put in. I'm taking Darian, but it's not going
Darian.
to be close.
It's Darian, dude.
You're right. Maybe we should just talk about the teams that are in the playoffs. Okay, so that game is projected to be 148 to 120. I don't think it's going to be that close. Let's talk about, in my opinion, what's the more interesting matchup this week.
You and Shannon?
No, there's a 12-point spread on you and Richard.
Why do your team just... You're projected 170 points.
He sure is.
Cheese and rice.
I'm not. I'm concerned. I really am.
Stop it.
So let's talk about Wesley versus Richard first. Wes is projected to win by, like I said, 12 or 13 points.
I'm concerned.
I look at the quarterbacks in this matchup. Dude, you have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen against Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers. You have
but Lamar Jackson's going against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and they always play him tough.
Can I tell you something about Lamar Jackson?
He's only won against the Steelers one time.
He's only won against the Steelers one time. It's because he didn't play them last year in the second game that they played. He had 10 fantasy points against them. Oh, wow. You might be right. You might be onto something. You know why he's only beat the Pittsburgh Steelers once? Are you ready to hear this?
Yes.
Go on.
Two out of the last 3 times that they've played the Pittsburgh Steelers, he didn't play. The other 2 of the times that he's played in the last 4 games that they've played the Steelers, he has had 9 points and 19. You might be onto something. He doesn't score a lot of points against Pittsburgh ever.
Can you see my concern? Actually, I think he's going to have a good game. I think he might
get
a lot of running.
In the last 6 games that the Ravens have played the Steelers, Lamar Jackson has not played in the game. This is insanity.
What are you talking about?
I'm back to 2020 right now. Week 8, they played the Steelers. He scored 18. Week 12, they played the Steelers. He didn't play. Back in 2021, they played the Steelers.
What, in
one
Baltimore?
time. It was at Pittsburgh. He scored 19 points.
They would have had to play him twice.
Huh?
They would have had to play him twice.
Yeah, week 18, didn't play.
He didn't play, yeah.
In 2022,
ladies and gentlemen, this is the deep dive that we go for you for information
on our fantasy league.
Week 22. It doesn't matter.
Lamar Jackson's still a relevant player for everybody.
In the year of 2022, in weeks 14 and 17, they played Pittsburgh. Lamar didn't play.
Yep.
In
Was that the
2020,
That was Huntley, I
contract
think, right?
situation?
in 2023, they played him in week 5. He scored 9.9, we'll say 10 fantasy points. And then they played him again in week 18. He didn't play. This is insanity. Week 2024, he played. They played a week 11. He scored 17 fantasy points, and they
Yep.
play again this week. Ladies and gentlemen, is it too much for me to ask? Is Lamar gonna play?
He's gonna play.
He has
He's
no
gonna
injury
play.
designation, but the guy doesn't play against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
He's gonna play.
He's never scored 20 fantasy points against them since 2020.
My biggest concern on my game for my team is I have a few. Darnell Mooney has got Penix throwing. Tyreek Hill's questionable against 49ers. Kamara's questionable against Green Bay. And then you got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry going against Pittsburgh's defense. Like, this is not a great time for my team. And I don't really have anybody that can go in because David Montgomery is out.
Can I tell
Amari
you?
Cooper you can't trust.
The only question mark I have on Richard's team this week is Keon Coleman against New England. I cannot believe he's not starting Marvin Harrison against Carolina over him.
Hey, I'll trade you Jerry Jeudy for David Montgomery right now.
No.
You should
Maybe.
smash that. Smash that. You send that offer over, Wesley, right now. Send it. Send that
Do it.
offer. You should do that.
And you'll
Do
be
it.
playing against the guy who has been sitting there waiting for that offer for 5 days.
Do it.
Can we get a trade going on the show right now?
Are we doing it?
Wes,
Are we doing it right now?
Maybe. Let me look.
Send it.
Send it.
Send that.
Keep talking about
Send
your matchup.
I am taking Richard to win this game. Wesley, I love you. I love your roster. I do. But just like you'd mentioned, Lamar against Pittsburgh, he doesn't succeed against them usually. He might this time, but he hasn't. Derrick Henry against Pittsburgh, coming off of a bad week, playing against a good defense. That makes me nervous. Alvin Kamara has been banged up. He's playing at Green Bay, another good defense. Don't love it. Tyreek Hill against San Francisco, don't love that matchup. I love the Mike Evans and George Kittle matchups. Darnell Mooney with Michael Penix as their quarterback, I think he's going to rely more heavily on Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Devontae Adams probably will score a lot, and so will Josh Allen. But I just look at everybody that he's putting up. Aaron Rodgers coming off of a heater. James Conner playing against Panthers. Joe Mixon playing against Kansas City. Jacoby Myers is consistently good. A.J. Brown is amazing. Jonnu Smith has been one of the best tight ends in the league. Jalen Hurts against Washington, their weak secondary. I feel bad, but I'm taking Richard in this game.
Man, oh man.
Corey?
Oh,
thoughts?
oh my gosh. I lost my screen. There we go. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Well, it depends. Depends on what Wesley does here. You throw that 2nd and 26 in, and I'll hit accept right now.
No,
That's crazy.
not a chance. You can just cancel the trade then.
Too late.
I'm even hesitant.
It just went through.
There we go.
Oh,
A 5th round
Jerry
pick.
Jeudy and a
I just
fifth
wanted
round
something.
pick in
something.
2025.
I really didn't want to get rid of
David
Montgomery, but
Montgomery.
he is hurt, so we'll see.
I'm going to be
Whatever, man.
honest with you. I think Wesley might have just swung the bell back towards him a little bit. That
A
helps.
little bit.
I love
But
what Jerry
Sometimes-
I don't
doing.
love
sometimes
who's
when
throwing
you-
to him.
Sometimes you snooze, you lose. Last time I did a trade with Wesley, his guy didn't do anything for 6 weeks. So
Hmm.
now you got an extra dynasty wide receiver, my friend. I am still going to take. I'm actually
taking-
going to take. I was going to take Wesley before that trade, and I'm still going to take Wesley before after the trade.
I'm concerned. I'm going to take Richard.
I don't know that Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers can compete with Josh Allen by himself. Let alone the other receivers. Adams just went nuts. Kittle's always good for a lot. Mike Evans against Dallas with no Trayvon Diggs. Air it out, my friend.
Josh
I don't care
Allen
about those.
is
The rest-
not taking a rest though because they're 11-3. They're still going for that 1 seed.
Yeah,
3 games left. They're still fighting for that 1 seed. So
and they're playing against New England.
New England, I feel like they always play the Bills well. I may be wrong about that, but I feel like they
Actually, I
play.
changed my mind. I'm going with me. I'm looking
Yeah.
now. I got Mike Evans. He's still getting force fed the ball. He's playing against Dallas. George Kittle against Miami. He is the main target there right now. I don't know. You're talking about Juwan Jennings or whatever. He's got to have a. He didn't have a great game last week, right? Because that was that sloppy Thursday night game, right?
Yeah.
Devontae
Oh.
Adams against the Rams.
Yes, it was. It was. You're right. Sorry.
All right. Josh Allen has had one game against New England, 2 games against New England under 20 points
Yeah. So
in
How long
all
has he
the
been
years that
playing?
he's played.
7 years.
So this is his 7th season.
Yeah.
all right, last
I mean,
matchup.
short of maybe his rookie year, I guess, but
Last
I'm thinking on Josh Allen.
last matchup, the 12-2 Sheepdogs Shannon against 9-5. Gibbs it to me, baby. Me. As you had mentioned before, I am technically projected to win this game 170.8 to 147.4. I will not be going first.
Wes, go ahead, man.
Oh
We
man.
locked Ladd. We locked Nakua. You always lock Barkley. There's not a
Yeah.
player on Gibbs' team that we haven't.
Locked at some
I
point in the
mean,
season.
they're all locked.
But then
They're
again,
all
you got.
locked.
Oh, Mac Jones is definitely not a lock.
Nope.
I saw that and I didn't. Is that his only option? I feel like
Geno
that's
Smith
not a
is
good look. Geno's
Will Levis
hurt.
is benched. Geno
Geno's-
Smith might be hurt.
22.6 points last week against the Jets.
He's sitting Jordan
24 against
Addison
Houston.
and Khalil Shakir.
Can I tell you who I'm even more surprised that he's benching? Isaac
Tony
Garendo.
Pollard.
Yeah, but who are you gonna play him over?
He's playing
Bijan
against
O'Brien?
Miami. You could start
Maybe
him
Brian.
over
Brian.
Over
Keenan,
Brian.
Keenan
Philadelphia's
Allen.
defense.
Keenan Allen in the flex spot.
Oh, I didn't see flex. You're right.
He's playing against Detroit, so I mean maybe, but
Well, he played Detroit before, 24. He against the NFC North, he's got 23, 24, and 20.
Solid. I see what
that's
he's doing
And then-
there.
yeah. I see. I guess that makes sense.
And he had one bad game against the Packers, 4 of 8.
Can I tell you guys the most nerve-wracking? I look at all these matchups. He's got Joe Burrow, who's been great. He's got Bijan, who is great. Great matchup, by the way. He's got Nico Collins, who's been great. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's been great. Of everybody on this roster, I am terrified by Trey McBride. His
Should be.
last 4 games, 37, 33, 21, and 26.7. This
Have you
guy
noticed?
in our
Go
in
ahead.
our extra PPR tight end premium league, 15 targets, 12 targets, 14 targets, 10 targets. I'm terrified of Trey McBride.
Do you know why you should be terrified of Trey McBride? Because he's doing all of that without scoring a single touchdown all year.
And he's playing against Carolina.
Yep.
This is not an easy game to choose. I'm projected to win by 23, but I do not think that I'm going to win this game by 23.
Hey, Shannon, I've got an extra quarterback for you.
Hey, Sal, you beat me this year, didn't you? In one of our matchups? Because I know Shannon gave me my first loss, and I thought you gave me my second. I could be wrong. I can't remember. But either way, you guys both have a good chance against me or Richard, whoever. This is good playoffs. Solid teams. Yeah. You boys got anything else to add?
Did we pick?
I don't
Did
think so.
anybody pick this game?
Yeah, I picked you.
I'm picking you. I'd be nervous, but I'm not that nervous.
I beat you, Wesley, by 1 point.
Yeah.
In the week that we scored the 2 lowest points in the league. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Guys, I would love to pick myself in this matchup. I'm having a really hard time just flat out picking myself in this matchup. The only reason that I would pick myself is that he's got Mac Jones starting in this game. That's the only reason. Mac Jones has started a couple of games this year. Two of his last 3 starts, he scored 24 and 22. Las Vegas is terrible. Mac Jones might not be a bad start this week. I'm calling the up. Is it an upset? No, I'm taking Shannon to win.
Either way, if I were to pull off this win against Richard, then both of you have already beat me once this year, so
We're the only 2 teams that have beat you, right?
I believe so.
Who beat Shannon this year?
Me and
Me?
probably.
No, he beat me by 2 points in week 13.
All right, boys, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good night. Good show.
It was a great show. I'm pretty happy with that.
Good show.
Mm-hmm.
Great show, even.
I know great shows. This was the greatest show.
All right, boys.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Later.